Today, we are going to talk about kindness and how easy it is to be kind while I do my Saturday chores. I honestly didn't think I was going to get a video out this week. It has been such a crazy week. If you do not know me, I'm Kelsey. I am a stay-at-home mom of 5. I homeschool, and I have recently learned the love of cooking everything from scratch. We're trying to get away from store-bought items as much as I possibly can. And this year is also the first year that I did a garden. It's not very successful this year. I'm excited for spring in 2025, but there's a lot of lessons that I learned this year in doing my first year of gardening. I want to talk about kindness today is because I just had something happen at church on Sunday, and it just blew my mind how rude people can be. I am on a lot of different social medias, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and I get a lot of rude comments and things like that, but I'm able to just brush them off because they're not said to my face. A lot of them do hurt, and they kind of like live rent-free in my head for a little bit. Oh, I found all these cups in the car. Check your van for cups, because there's some hiding in there, I promise. Anyways, some of those comments do live rent-free, and some of those comments really, really, really do get to me if they're really mean. But this particular situation just blew my mind that this person actually said what she said to my face at church nonetheless. It's one of the reasons why I really don't like going to church, but my kids have been asking, and it's a small church, so in my hometown, so I was like, okay, well, let's go. I have really bad experiences with church growing up, and people just being rude and mean and very judgmental, that I was like, well, maybe the small town church that I grew up in, I went to this church as a kid, would be a great fit for us and the kids, because basically everybody knows me there. Everybody remembers my dad. My grandmother still goes. I see a lot of people that are like, wow, you really grew up. And it's so cool seeing you with all your kids here. We're so happy to have you, and everybody is so welcoming. But this one person made me want to leave on Sunday. She brought tears to my eyes. I wanted to cry. I really wanted to cry. I can't remember exactly what she said, but basically along the lines of, it's been really nice not having you in church because your kids are so disrespectful and so disruptive. And when she was saying that, I was just like, oh my gosh. And the church does have a nursery, and she proceeded to say, you really need to put them in the nursery. And I explained to her that I have an autistic son, and he doesn't like being in the nursery. He doesn't know the people in the nursery. The last Sunday that we did go, I sat in the nursery with him to try to get him just acquainted and slowly introduce it to him, so that way I can put him in the nursery on his good days. But there are some days that he has bad days, and he wants to be with me. If you have an autistic kiddo, you more than likely understand. And trying to explain this to her, she told me, and I quote, you need to just make him stay. No, I can't just make him stay. I can't walk away while he is screaming at the top of his lungs for me. I can't. I I can't. I've tried doing it because the lady in the nursery is like, he'll be all right. We'll try to get him distracted. And there was one time that he started throwing things, and I'm scared that he might hurt another kid or something. So I was like, no, I'm just going to take him back into the congregation with me. And she's like, okay, no problem. And of course I was taking him, and the other two wanted to come with me, and I was like, let's just go, everybody. So he's a tricky kid sometimes. And there was one time that I did, a different time that I did leave him, and I could hear him screaming all the way into the congregation. It's a small church, guys, so it's not like a really big church, but I could hear him screaming all the way in the congregation. And so I went and got him and brought him back out with me. And the thing is I sit all the way in the back. So if I need to leave, I can do that without interrupting. I was sitting up front, and the times that I had to leave, I felt very disruptive. And, because one of my twins was like, bye everybody, bye, we'll see you later. And, the preacher does not mind. The preacher does not mind. And she actually called me Sunday after church, and after she heard what happened, because apparently there was a couple of people in the congregation that were standing around that heard what happened and told her about it. And she called me, and she was like, Kelsey, I want to get the information on the situation. So I told her exactly what happened. And she was like, no, that's not okay. And that is not something that's going to be happening in my church. We love your children in the congregation with us. They need to be in the congregation. How are they going to learn to sit still and to listen if you don't give them the opportunity to learn? And she proceeded to say, if you need to, just sit up front and away from that lady. And I was speechless. Her kindness of getting the information of that situation, and her kindness of saying, no, your kids are more than welcome to be in the congregation with everybody else, it just solidified what that lady said to me. The preacher continued to explain to me that there was a couple of people that complain about the children in the congregation, because I'm not the only one that has kids in the congregation. I'm the only one that has a lot of kids. But there are other parents that this one particular person had said mean things to. So I wasn't the only one. And the preacher continues to say that she is just somebody that has never had kids. She doesn't understand. She's just an old, miserable person, is how she put it. And she does not like children. She's never had them. She doesn't like them, and she's never going to understand what it's like to have children, And so that made a lot more sense of why she said what she said, the way she said it. Because people that don't have kids truly don't understand that they're babies. My 2-year-old twins are not going to sit still and be quiet. My 1-year-old baby is not going to sit still and be quiet. And of course I bring things to distract them, and coloring books and things like that. And if they do get too rowdy while my older two are back in the back with children's church, I will take them out and go to the playground if they're just having a bad day and they're just too loud. And my grandmother will sit and wait for my other two to come back out, and we'll just meet up at the playground. So I try my best not to be, disruptive, but there's only so much that I can do. So I guess next Sunday, as the preacher has said, we might go and sit up front, because they did really well sitting up front, actually. And I think it's because they could see the choir and they could see everything that was happening. When we're sitting in the back, they can't really see anything. But my thing is if that lady had such a big issue with my children and where we were sitting, why couldn't she just move? Instead of saying something rude, she could have just moved, simply moved from where she was sitting. I don't know. There are people out there that honestly never, I guess, learn the lesson of, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. There are so many people that have no filter from their brain to their mouth and just say things that are off the handle and really rude and demeaning. And it amazes me. Where are the kind people? I feel like the people that are truly kind are just missing. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels like this, or if you guys also agree. But I feel like in the world that we live in today, there are just so many people that are so quick to judge and so quick to say something mean versus saying something nice. And I will raise my hands. I'm not a perfect person. There are times that I will judge somebody at first glance, but at the same time, I will sit there and stop myself and be like, no, we're not going to do this. That's not very nice to think about that person. That is not something that we're going to do. And so instead of judging them, I try to put myself in their shoes. Like, let's say there's a mom at the store and she's having a hard time with her toddler. And instead of saying something like, you need to learn how to control your child, why don't you ask mom if she needs some help? Or tell her, hey, I know you're having a hard time, but just know you are doing a really great job. And saying stuff like that is so simple and so easy versus staring at her while she is struggling with her child. There are times that I've been through this at the store. Sam, one of my twins, he would have a full-on meltdown at the store. And the stares that I got and the under the breath comments that I could hear. Guys, we're moms. We can hear you speaking underneath your breath. You think we might not hear you, but we hear you. I can hear everything. But the facts that there's people out there that just would rather be rude and mean and disrespectful is crazy, when it is so easy and so free to be nice and to ask her if she needs some help. I just wanted to tell you guys that, because I feel like their kindness is dying out in the world, especially with social media. Everybody is keyboard warriors, and they think because they're not actually saying it to your face that their words don't hurt. And they do. They still do. They might not sting as bad as if you were saying it to our faces, but they still hurt. Words hurt sometimes. And words can either tear you down or lift you up. And honestly, we need to start lifting people up. We need to start lifting each other up. And be nice. My mind can't wrap around the fact that there are people out there that are like this. Do you guys have any stories of when somebody was really rude to you and then somebody came up behind it and did something kind? I would really like to hear them, because I feel like as moms, we have experienced stories like this and people making snide remarks about our children. And guys, let me tell you, if we were not in church, I might have let my emotions get the best of me with this situation. I was furious when she said what she said. And honestly, I came into church so happy. I had a really great chat with the preacher beforehand. And, you know, the ladies at the front of the door, when you walk in, you get welcomed. And they're like, we're so happy you're here. We haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. And I explained to them, I'm like, yeah, we got sick. And then we were at our grandparents' house and my husband broke his leg, and just there was so much going on that I couldn't make it to church. And they were like, we're really glad that you're here. And it felt so welcoming, and I was so happy to be there. And then when that lady said what she said, I felt the light leave and the happiness just completely gone. And like I said, I wanted to cry, and I wanted to get my kids, and I wanted to leave that day, or Sunday. I wanted to leave. And I've been thinking, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but my grandmother always told me to kill people with kindness. If somebody's being mean to you and being rude and saying things that aren't okay, you shouldn't stoop to their level and say it back. And I think what I'm going to do is go to church next week, and I'm going to bring a loaf of bread for her. And give her or have one of my kids give her a loaf of bread. And just be like, we bake this for you. And we hope you have a good week. Or something along those lines. I'm not sure. I'm the type of person that doesn't really like confrontation. So if she says something to me again, I might not hold back. But I think that's what I might do. And then go sit at the front of the church so I'm not bugging her. That's one of the things about me, is I'm a people pleaser. If you tell me you don't like something that I am doing, I will stop doing it. And it's one of those life lessons that I have learned, that I can't people please everybody. And if somebody doesn't like something, that's honestly tough bananas, because I'm gonna do what I need to do. And yeah, I might be nice and do what my grandmother has always taught me. And that's basically that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about this week. I challenge you to do something nice for somebody, even if it's just simply complimenting their hair. No backhanded compliments. No, hey, you look a little tired. You should probably get some sleep sort of comments. None of those. Say, hey, your hair looks really good today. I love it. Or cute outfit. Or tell a mom. You see a mom in the store, just go up to her and be like, you're doing a great job today. Because you know what? That mom might have had a really hard time getting out of the house and getting those kids into that store. And you simply saying that will change her whole day. It will change her whole day. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I honestly didn't know if I was going to get it out or not, because I have been so busy taking care of my husband. I'm literally taking care of 6 people now because he can't really take care of himself. He needs help a lot. He's on crutches. He doesn't have a cast, so we've got to be sort of extra careful with the way he moves. But he is back at work. He actually went back on last Wednesday, which was a week after he broke his leg. I'm telling you guys, this man is a trooper. He's back to work a week after breaking his leg. But I've been having to, of course, help him in the shower and help him get around, making sure the kids keep the living room clean, which is hard enough, so that way he can walk down the hallway to the bathroom. Because, you know, if you have kids, the living room never stays clean. That's where I don't want to say all because they have toys in their room, but that's where most of these kids' toys is in the living room, and they like making a mess. But it's also been a really good lesson for them to, hey, when we're done playing with something, let's clean it up. And hopefully having hubby on crutches will help create this habit that will last after hubby gets better, of let's clean up after we're done with something. And it's going well, not too well, because, you know, the twins, they are 2, so they only understand. I mean, I don't want to say they don't understand, they do understand, but trying to get them to clean is a talent all by itself. I feel like getting children to clean should be an Olympic sport, along with getting kids in the car. I'm having to go pick him up from work. I'm lucky enough that my brother is able to take him to work on the way to him going to work, so I don't have to get the kids up really, really early to be able to take hubby to work. But I do have to load the car up, go pick him up from work, and then come back home, which has really put a dimple. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. Not a dimple. It's really put a well, gosh, I can't think of the word. It's really hindered our schedule because hubby doesn't get off till 5 p.m. and usually we're eating at 5 p.m. I'm cooking dinner at 4. So now I'm having to cook dinner a little bit earlier and go get him. And then by the time we get back home, everybody is really hungry and just upset and everything else. But it's working. It's only for a couple of weeks, and he'll be back to back to his normal self and hopefully be able to drive. The only problem is we only have one car, so unless he is able to ride the motorcycle again, which is how the accident happened, we're going to not have a car during the day, which I might just still go pick him up from work and stuff like that so we can have the car. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this week's video, and like I said, go be nice to somebody this week. I challenge you to be nice.